Hello everyone, my name is Sahil and I'm a real estate consultant and welcome to my channel Real Estate with Sahil. So this is the episode 4 of the series of Middle Class Wealth Destroyer, and I'll be covering about how a real estate cycle works. So that was supposed to be covered in the third episode, but it got quite long, so I thought of making a new video about it. Why not? Okay, so episode 1 2 3 are out. If you're loving this series, do comment loving it in the comments and tell us more about what's your experience with commercial and how it worked for you. If it not worked for you, what was your case, how you got into it. Do share your opinion, thoughts, whatever you have. Okay, so let's talk about how the cycle of a real estate works. Okay, this is not particular to commercial, it's general. Okay, I'll almost at the end I'll take the take of how the commercial cycle also works. So it's generalized way of a real estate cycle. So real estate cycle is like when you buy a property, any real estate. So assuming you bought a 2 bhk for 1 year. Okay, now in a top city, top 10 12 cities. Okay, so every year you might get somewhat 8 to 10% of appreciation on paper, the area rate, I mean the wealth on your paper, and 3%, 4%, 5%, somewhat around that of rental yield. It can be go to 6 to 7%, but for the particular unit of a project. So that is something I'll be teaching in the next series, how to decide what kind of a project, I mean what kind of a flat or a particular thing you need to book, particular flat only you need to book in a residential society to get the maximum rental yield. I mean that can lead to 6 7 8% also rental yield, but generally let's assume you have a 3% rental yield in 8 to 10%. So like 9% that, 3% that, 12%, you got your annual return. Okay, so every year you will be getting 12% annually, not every year, somewhat in that okay range. So every 7 to 9 years your value of your real estate goes up by double. So if you bought it for 1 CR, after 8 years, 9 years, I mean best case scenario in 7 years it will around 2 CR. Worst case scenario in 9 years, 10 years it will be 2 CR, but it will be doubled in 7 to 9 years. Every 7 to 9 years your property doubles. Why? Because the rent appreciates. How does a real estate property's value is determined? It's more about the area. Where are you actually living? Okay, so in 8 to 10 years, if you bought a property in a growing area, I mean it's a developing area, then the property will grow almost 8 to 10%. If it's in the center of the city, it's a developed area, it's definitely going to go 10% at least, because it's the center of a city. Everything is closer to the center, everything is developed there, every facilities is there. But let's assume you have invested somewhat ahead, not the center, I mean outer, not exactly outer, but somewhat outer of the city. Okay, so every year your rent will go 10% up. Every year's 10 to 12% of rental appreciation you'll see there. In 8 years it will be doubled. So if you're renting your 1 CR 2 BHK for like around 35k per month, now it will be around 60 to 70k in 8 years. I mean that's, if you think that's way too much, everybody would be like, I mean 60 70k for 2 BHK is extraordinary rent, but that's going to be the future of real estate. That's how your rental will be there. Because if you imagine before COVID, in somewhat around 2018 17, the rental were like, what was the rental of a 2 BHK? 12k, 10k, that's it. That was the maximum. I mean, if it's a very well society and everything is there, the perfect unit would be around 15k. That's what you were paying for a 2 BHK. But if you look now, 20K is the bare minimum. If you're going for a good society, good, I mean, there will be couple of flats would be less, but in a generalized way, if you're looking in a nice area, developed area, which is closer to your office, it will be at least 30K, 35K for your 2 BHK. That's the bare minimum rent. So it's like 15 to 30, 35K. It's not there. If it's a furnished house, I mean, semi-furnished with nice woodwork, nice false ceiling, nice paint, everything is neat and cleaned, well maintained house, easily 35K for a 2 BHK. That's the rent. And if you go into Bangalore and Mumbai and into Gurgaon, then the rent is going extraordinary because they are already very developed areas. I mean, it's extraordinary high. The rent is there high. The deposit is like 6 months deposit. It's way too much because the area is that kind of, every it's the properties is not that much good. Property are not that much. So that's how it controls the rent. The closer to your office, the bit higher the rental goes. Let's not get all into all these factors and complicate the video. This is the rule of doubling your property value. In terms of paper value, the appreciation you get, that will be 7 to 9 years, it's going to be doubled, and the rental is 8 years, 7 to 9 years also. Your rent is going to go double. Some year it might not go, you might not see a 10% appreciation, you might see 8%, or 7% appreciation, but maybe next year you might see a 12%. So in 8 years you'll be seeing it double, getting double. But not, I mean, that's the case of your residential. But now what happens in case of commercial real estate? So the early days of your commercial property, that's the peak you're going to get. That's why all the builders out there might give you a guarantee of first 3 year minimum rental, this and that. These kind of guarantees are given there. That is actually extracted. I mean, that's the amount you have, the premium you have paid for a particular commercial unit is given to you after. I mean, it's taken from you at first, and now it's given an installment to you in the next 3 months. And after 8 to 9 years, the commercial space will be dead. And I'm not talking about, the center of city commercial. I mean, any other commercial you're seeing. I mean, if for example, if you see Chandni Chowk, will Chandni Chowk go down? Will it die down? No, it won't, because that thing is working from last 100 years, 200 years. That is something which is a timeless property. Not getting into that. I'm getting into the property a middle class can afford and can buy, and what's the best case scenario. The rental is, it said it can go to 7%, 6% rental in a commercial, but that's not the case. It might be the first year, might be the first second year, but it won't be consistent. You won't be getting the 6-7% rental for the next rest of your life, because it will be dead after 8 years, and the rental will decline because the footfall is declining. That's how it actually works for the case of commercial. So this rule of doubling your appreciation in the rental in 8-9 years, it doesn't apply to commercial, because in 8 to 9 years the commercial area will be dead. A new commercial will appear which will promise again 8 to 10% rental and some extraordinary dreams, and then again new area will get developed, new commercial will be there, and that's how it goes, because it's oversupplied, the need is not there. A lot of, I've already explained these in the couple of early videos, episode 1, 2, 3, 4 out there, and this is the fourth, episode 1, 3 out there. Do check them out if you haven't. Do comment loving it, and like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for all the upcoming videos. Bye, see you next time.